Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. I'm Sundra Abiola.
Good morning. Welcome back. I'm Veronica Odeka. Our next guest, Omoshola Deji, describes himself as an analyst with profound insight on politics and happenings in the polity. He believes that his analysis are based on unimpeachable facts, devoid of political, ethnic, or religious sentiments. Omoshola Deji says he is a liberal-minded and liberalized Nigerian that owes no allegiance to any political party or interest group. We are now being joined by him to look at the different strategies being adopted by the major political parties, as well as their messages in the build-up to the 2019 general elections. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
It's really good to have you back on. I know he's pretending to be calm right now, but he's far from it. So just to jump right into it, the campaigns are on for the both political parties. What is your take on their messages that they're putting forth?
Well, both political parties, main
The major
political party
ones,
now,
yes.
the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party, has been campaigning based on anti-corruption. But when Nigerians are clamoring for a change of lyrics, they've adopted the infrastructure part of it, that we are not only fighting corruption, we are also providing infrastructure. Then recently, they've been trying to use the trader money, social incentives kind of thing, to speak to Nigerians that, okay, we have the interest of the poor Nigerians at heart. So that is their own strategy of reaching the most vulnerable Nigerians.
Yes.
For the PDP has largely been campaigning on addressing poverty in the system, that there is high rate of poverty in the system. Then the APC and PDP has also been using the ethnic strategy. The APC has been talking about, okay, should I say, hawking the 2023 presidency. Okay, the Buhari presidency, if he should win again, would hand over to the southeast, southwest. So there's been trying to use that to attract the vote now, because the winning determinant is largely the southwest. So they've been trying to, okay, you get the vote, but okay, the southeast too, if you can vote for the APC, you might as well get the presidency in 2022. So start working for it now by voting for the APC. That's the message the APC has been putting out. Right?
So do you think, in your opinion, now that we've discussed the strategies that they both are employing to really communicate their messages across, do you think that one is being more effective than the other? Or do you think that equally they're both doing a good job?
Both of them can do much more better because they've largely been putting out their decisions, then the policies they wish to implement, if they should get re-election or should the PDP candidate win. But then they have not given us the methodology. In advanced climes on the of the world, you don't just come and put out promises, empty promises. No, you have to give us the methodology. If you say you are going to provide electricity, how do you intend to achieve this? What are the duration, so that we can know how to score you? And I think that is what is affecting the APC government right now. They rolled out so many promises. You know, they just look at what they think Nigerians need. Okay, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do that. And Nigerians fail to ask, how are you going to achieve this? How do you intend to bring this change that you are saying you want to give to us? What kind of change are we even talking about? So these strategies of both parties are not so much different from each other. And we've had a lot of, calumny campaign whereby they attack each other. And I think Nigerians themselves, they like this kind of campaign of political attack, whereby you attack
the mudsliding.
Yes, the personality of your opponent. Because if you look at both the APC and the PDP campaign, they have that thing in common. Rather than come on stage on the podium and address the issues, the major issues that is affecting Nigerians, how Nigeria is going to move forward with other nations of the globe. You don't do that and you just come up and start attacking your opponent, giving up the same kind of lyrics over and over again. And I think this is not changing because Nigerians seems to be satisfied by that. We are not asking the right questions. We are not making the right moves. We are just kind of like, okay, anything they give to us, we accept it. So as long as that doesn't change, we might not have a change of strategy from the political parties. The main political parties are very happy with the way they are campaigning right now. But then, is it effective enough to take Nigeria from where we are to where we ought to be? No, it's not.
So even up until very recently, the expectation was that a third force would emerge in Nigerian politics and give Nigerians a viable option apart from the traditional APC and PDP. But that has not materialized so far. To whom do you attribute the blame for this? Is it that the smaller parties, if they may be so called, did not step up to the challenge, or is it that Nigerians are not giving them a chance?
Yeah, most of the smaller political parties are too syndicated and ethnic fixated. And in a plural nation like Nigeria, you have to have structures across board. Then one major problem with the third force is everybody wants to be on the driving seat. No, it shouldn't be so. If we here are to embark on a trip to Ibadan, it doesn't matter who drives the car. The most important thing is we get there safely. Whether it's you, whether it's me, whether it's you, it doesn't matter. But the problem with third force is everybody wants to be the president. You can bring about the policies you want. Even if you are part of it, you don't have to be the #1 citizen.
Are you referring to the collapse of their coalition that they tried to achieve?
The collapse of the coalition is part of it, but the third force also, if you want to face the stronger political parties, why can't we have a situation whereby all the other candidates will come together, present a candidate, and I have once recommended that apart from presenting one candidate, why can't they form like an interim cabinet? Okay, let's use this person as our presidential candidate, vice presidential candidate. Okay, if this president should win, let's say Madam Obi, you will be in charge of finance or economy. Omoyele Sowore, you will be in charge of maybe the infrastructure. Nigerians will take them serious. Nigerians will know, okay, this thought for us. And there's one major problem. Majority of some of these thought force that you see, they are not thought force, but distracting forces. Because some of them are even sponsored by the ruling party. Because there was a time, there's this not too young to run, not too young to run. People were clamoring for it. Now we have a lot of young candidates. But then, there are so many. So the strategy put out by the ruling party is to sponsor some of these young candidates, go and contest, so that by the time they present themselves to Nigerians, now, even Nigerians will be confused of who to follow, who to vote for, which young person are we really to vote for. So the third force themselves, like I said, in this 2019 election, it will either be PDP or APC, and the third force will come third, because they've already placed themselves in the third position. They should align strongly, put forward an interim cabinet, address the main issues. There are so many issues that are left unaddressed. Speak to Nigerians. Now, if I alone is to lift this table, it's going to be very difficult for me. But if you're assisting me there, and I'm seated right here, it's very much easy. So it's not, if all of them can come together, and if they put their structure together, those they are tiny, tiny structures, if they put it together, definitely it will become a strong force. And definitely the two main political parties will also start addressing the issues, we also start speaking to Nigeria. But we have so many selfish, greedy, over-ambitious people in this thought force that they are even so much interested in becoming the president, not about being a partaker of a new Nigeria. Like I once said, it's not about who drives the bus. It's about getting to the destination safely.
But is there any part of the activities of these smaller parties that you could commend?
I can commend their courage. Because for me, it takes a whole lot of courage for me to contest an election and knowing that I'm going to lose and still contest. It takes a whole lot of courage, to contest as the president of Nigeria. So I commend their courage because most of them contesting, naturally, they know. Even if they don't know, their spouse, their kids knows that, hey, dad, mom, you can't win. So for you to still go ahead, spend money with the kind of, political system we have, it takes a whole lot of
But
courage.
I honestly don't think necessarily that someone gets into going to contend or oppose. Yes, we know that there are higher powers as far as like our politics are concerned, but I think that they, in their heart, do feel that there is a possibility. It's still a win. If you contest on a smaller platform and your voice is heard to an extent, and you continue to contest, then yes, the overall goal is that maybe not right now, but technically your contesting could be for the next one that's coming up, and then you continue to build a stronger army within what it is you're doing. I want to know what your take is on whether the third parties or the two political parties now, how can they identify and really articulate their message forward as we gear up for an election?
Well, the way they can articulate their message forward is to address the right issues, then speak to the right people.
What do you think are some of the issues that we want to actually hear from them going forward?
Well, the issues Nigerians want to hear from them is how the country itself will be great. Nigerians don't care who the president is. They just want to get home, switch on their Sunday, and there's light. Nigerians, most of our fellow citizens, they don't really have interest in who the president, whoever is there.
Really?
I'm a fresh graduate, let me get a job. They don't really, okay, I don't have money for my business, there's social incentive. That's what Nigerians really, okay, if Nigerians are so much interested, why are people not leaving their hustles and go and collect their PVC? We have a lot of uncollected PVCs. Because Nigerians believe it's that hustle that can guarantee them their daily bread. And based on the hierarchy of needs, you need to be sure of your daily bread first before you can even say you want to go and vote or something. You need to first of all think of your means of survival. So Nigerians really need to be more political too.
How can we be more political? How?
Well, we can be more political if the system works. Right now, Nigerians are discouraged. You see people that they already know who will win amongst themselves. We have that kind of, a political side that, they won't perform. They just want to go there and satisfy themselves.
Do you feel like that's without unfair reasoning? Because obviously our country is full of corruption, and we've seen how things have gone within the last few years. There's so much insecurity in the country with instability. So is it not a fair assessment for them to feel the way that they do?
Well, it's a fair assessment for them to feel the way they do, most especially when we have strong men and weak institutions.
Yes.
And the strong men controls this, and once they are gone, the institution is just weaker.
Yes.
So it's right for them to feel that way. But then, what is the solution? Feeling that way is not the solution. Participating in the process is the solution. Now, just each vote determines who become the president. Like President Buhari now is very powerful. The Nigerian Constitution has given him so much powers.
Yes.
But then, as powerful as he is, as strong as he is, he still needs that vote of that unemployed, that disabled person, that vulnerable person to become president. So the earlier these people see that, oh, I really have this power, that I can really determine who becomes the president, that my vote can count, definitely things will go on the right way. But you now being apolitical, definitely, if no matter how intelligent you are, if you leave the governing of your society for the unintelligent ones, those unintelligent ones will drive the way and manner and direction in which your life is going to go.
So this is the thing. It's one of those what comes first, the chicken or the egg situation, whereby people feel they have to focus on their hustle, they cannot vote. But the reason why your hustle is such a challenge is because the system in which you have refused to participate does not work. So who bears the responsibility for voter education? Should political parties go beyond that selfish need of acquiring people's votes and actually just educate them about the general process and the results of it and the consequences on their lives? Is it the political parties or?
Those responsible for voter education is the electoral umpire and the political party themselves. The electoral umpire would educate the public, would give them the rules and guidelines of how to conduct themselves during election. So the INEC has a lot to do on voter education. Well, they've not really done much. They've passed that responsibility largely to the political parties. And political parties in Nigeria just have one interest: to win the election. So rather than concentrate on the voter education itself, they are trying to convince the candidate. And that's why you see that when some voters want to vote, they get there and they turn the ballot, like they're turning two political parties.
Yes.
They turn crossover to the other party because there is no voter education. Some will get to the polling booth and they are holding the ballot paper and they'll still be looking and looking and looking and looking, try to identify which political parties to vote for. This should have been done with the sample of the ballot paper provided to the political parties to educate then Nigerian political parties are not really educating the masses as they should, because when you are well informed, when you are well oriented, you ask basic questions, you pose some basic challenges. So on educating the masses has a gain for them, because if they eventually win, you ask less questions. It is what you know about that you can ask and query. And Nigeria would like to operate this kind of secret, system whereby, and we don't like being questioned. But fortunately enough, in our country, we still have citizens that don't ask for much. Governing Nigeria, I won't say it's easy, but it's not as difficult in...
Not as challenging.
Yes, it's not as challenging as other part of the world. They will ask you, now, so what's the next in technology? How can we spend our holiday in the moon? So what's happening? But here, what they will ask you is, can we just drive on a good road? Can we just have electricity? Can you pay us our salaries and arrears?
You're saying Nigerians don't ask for much?
They don't ask for much. Other countries of the world are running a very deep technological race. Nigeria is still very backward when it comes to technological advancement. We are not even willing to spend on research. A situation whereby you've not paid people's salary. A situation whereby corruption is so much. A situation whereby you are saving money for a corrupt political system, whereby what determines how you get the ticket of the political party is not based on merit, it's not based on your intellectualism, it's not based on your public acceptability. It's basically depending on your pocket. A kind of system whereby we have political patronage determines, how far you can go in politics, a kind of system whereby, you know, one man calls all the shots. And if that man cross carpet to another political party, if you don't cross carpet with him, you are seen as unloyal. A situation whereby you have to listen to a particular set of people and not the Nigerian masses itself. That kind of system, definitely you wouldn't expect the right development to take place.
I want to ask you this. Do you think that it is a situation whereby the political parties or even the president currently now is not being very clear on what it is that he's going to deliver? Or do you think that it's more of a case where the Nigerian public is not holding them accountable? Because previously before, when Buhari came into the presidency, he talked about change. Talked about what he was going to do, for instance, anti-corruption. He talked about, you know, dealing with Boko Haram. Talked on issues as far as education was concerned and making sure that people that are illiterate, the numbers that were there, transforming them and building schools and education. And we haven't seen these things come into place, but no one seems to be asking the questions or holding him accountable to say, these are the things that you said you were going to do. We've not seen that being done. Instead, we're now just accepting whatever it is that we're given. So is this a case that it's not that they're not being clear, they are saying what they're going to do because he's said that, and is it more of a situation where as citizens we're not actually holding people accountable for the things that they said that they were going to do? And if not, how do we make sure that this doesn't happen again, regardless of who becomes president?
Well, how we can make sure this doesn't happen again is to make sure that we increase our political participation. For example, when Buhari was elected president, it was sworn in May 29, but he started the act of governance late. And when he started that, he started governing late by appointing ministers like 6 months after that. Nigerians were relaxed. You know, Nigerians will tolerate a whole lot. That is his style. Then we have some particular set of Nigerians that they are good at defending whatever the politician puts forward. A politician is in a political party today. That politician, if it favors them, is the best. And the politician cross carpet to another political party with a different ideology. And that same politician is still the best. So the Nigerian political system has a way of, you know, confusing your personal moral integrity, because you see you contradicting yourself, you know, so often, very quickly. Because if, for example, now, if you are supporting, let's say, Bola Tinubu, for example, and you are a Buharist, because Bola Tinubu is working with Buhari today, he's the best, he's the saint, he's nice, he's good, he's a progressive. If there's any reason for Bola Tinubu to move away from APC tomorrow, that you are saying Bola Tinubu is the best, he's a progressive, you find yourself again, Bola Tinubu is bad, is worse. So you find yourself contradicting yourself almost
you talked
immediately.
about different ideologies. Different ideologies do not exist at this time.
Yes.
These political parties are based on who is friends with who at that point, who was able to get what they want, who did not get what they want, they flounce off and they move to the next party. So these people who turncoat and change their tune are not even doing it based on any ideology. It's even more shallow and embarrassing than that. How can we change that? Because no matter what disputes, you get like somebody like Senator Lindsey Graham getting into disputes with President Trump over the issue of the murder, the barbaric murder of Jamal Khashoggi. It never entered his mind to become a Democrat. He cannot, because there are certain ideologies that underpin the Republican Party, certain ideologies underpin the Democratic Party. How do you think we're ever going to get to that point in our political system?
Well, how we can get to that point is ensuring that the right people are handling the right positions. We have a situation whereby we have the wrong people in the wrong positions. Now, leadership is key, whether in the political party, whether in the home. Having the right people in the right position really, really, really matters. Then we can only have this if we Nigerians have this selfless service. We cannot have the right system whereby you are in a political process for what you are going to gain. If you are following somebody because of what you are going to gain, if the person gets there, the person will also try to gain something for himself. It's like an investment. What we have right now, most times, are political investors. They are not people that have the interest of the mind at heart. And why are they still thriving? Because Nigerians keep patronizing them based on the little that they can get.
Because of their own self-interest
yes,
as
we
well.
once had a time in this country whereby there's nothing like vote buying. There's nothing like ethnicity. 1993 election was held. You know, people didn't vote because of monetary gains. The ideas were put forward. Both Muslim, Christian voted for late MKO Abiola. There was nothing like ethnicity, but after that we have ethnicity, we have religion, we have a lot of intra-party crisis. You know, just because the premium that we now place on political offices is so much, is so high. 1999, they do beg people to come and be governor. But now, people want to kill themselves to become a councillor. People want to murder themselves to become a special advisor. Why? Because there's so much for them to gain. Make this office whereby less attractive, nothing to gain. You will see most of our businessmen turn politicians, most of our politicians without alternative addresses, we find something else to do. So that is how to keep the system in place. Then making sure that Nigerians, the resources in Nigerians are well utilized.
How?
If Lagos State is able to control his or her own resources, if the governor knows that if the resources are not well harnessed, the state will not have funds to pay workers and run the government. Definitely the governors will sit tight. The political parties will also put forward credible candidates that can utilize the resources of the state well. A situation whereby we have a lot of resources and we are practicing a monoproduct economy, whereby most governors now turn to beggars begging boat to Abuja. Some will abandon their state, and you think they are living inside Aso Rock, trying to get ecological funds, trying to get allocation, bailout, and all that. That kind of system, if it changes, it will also help the political process. Because once you know that if you don't read, there's no other way out, you will fail the exam. Definitely, you must read. But as long as you know that you can bribe your way through the system. Now, how challenging are political office in Nigeria? As long as political offices are not challenging, you see people of low intellectualism occupying key positions of government. Because why? What it takes to occupy that office, it doesn't take any intellectual challenge. Just be a governor. Whether you work or not, whether you do anything, there's one free money somewhere coming. So utilizing the Nigerian resources, what they call restructuring, is key to strengthen the Nigerian political system itself. It has an effect on the political system because once that is done, and it also has an effect on the social system because unemployment, if Lagos State has 10 or 15 mineral resources, and Lagos State is harnessing those resources. Now, you need people to work. Even if you are exporting, maybe crude or gold or timber or anything, you need people to manage the exploitation process. You need people to manage the exploitation of the resources, refining and other. So it also has an effect on the social system. So all these points that I've highlighted, if we can put those things in place, make the political system less attractive, make sure resources are well utilized, make sure we raise the bar for processing the selection of candidates. For example, you cannot tell somebody that for you to become, to participate, you need to participate in government. Once you go to university, you need to serve. And you peg what somebody needs to get to the highest office in the land as a WAEC certificate. In this modern age and time, just WAEC, 5 credit. You shouldn't even have the 5 credit. Just show us that you are able to go to school and you wrote WAEC. Now, if that is the minimum standard, anybody that has a WAEC certificate in these days of modern, there's a way government is being run now. You need a particular kind of intellectualism to drive government. Now, if that intellectualism is lacking, you cannot rise more than your own vision. If the vision is shallow, definitely your advisors or anybody you appoint cannot drive the country more than what you see.
So are you saying that that's the issues that we're having now?
Those are the issues. So if we raise the bar of how we, the criteria for getting into political offices, you know, it will also help too. Then sacrifice on the part of the citizen. Don't just see the political process as you don't have a say, you don't have a voice. Then show this ethnicity and religion. Nigeria is so detribalized now, so fragmented among ethnic and religious lines, but good enough. Now, the 2 major candidates are from the same ethnic group. But I have a problem with this 2019 election. And that is the aspect of national and regional. 2019 presidential election is a national election. Now, the 2 main contestants are from a particular region. So the election is contested mainly by a particular region of the country. Now, the election is also conducted mainly by persons from a particular region of the country. The chairman of INEC is from the same region, head of police, head of military from the same region. Recently, the coalition committee, Amina Zakari,
it's against our political convention.
It's also from a particular region. So what we are having in 2019 is we are having a national election being mainly contested and conducted by regional men. I think that's not good for our political system.
Thank you so much for all your contributions. Thank you very much indeed for joining. It's time now for a short break. When we return, Arise News analyst and producer Charles Ohuaku will be joining us to review the top newspaper headlines from across the country. Stay with us.